The Caddy has gone through many changes over the years. I'm really surprised that we haven't had new versions of it every single year. It's Volkswagen's one of their top selling vans for a long period of time. Transporters in there as well, crafter, they're all work tools. So why would you buy a van? You see, vans used to be the preserve of, well, work people. You know, you bought a van because of its cubic capacity and its towing ability, and that was more than enough. But that really isn't enough for the current day van drivers. They want something else, something more. Because it seems there is a series of more lifestyle vehicles coming out that are housed like a work vehicle. This is the Work Caddy. This has, in the rear of this, on the sliding door here, we have a fully wooden interior with a floor and a bulkhead put into it as well. So this is the work one. This is not the play one. But there are a few flaws and there are some good things as well. We're going to go through all of them. But before I do that, before I go wild on this, let me just explain. Let's have a look where vans have really come from. The humble van has been around since the time of the horse and carriage, and we've always needed to move goods far and wide, and the van has done that in all shapes and sizes. The passenger car has been here since the late 1800s, but the van and truck was much later. The design was really brought about by the First World War and the need for buses in large cities. Vans were basically replacing the workhorse. While I can't find any footage of the Mark I Caddy in its original form, there are quite a few modified versions on the market now. For Mark II, here's Brian Morris from Men and Motors.
So you're looking at buying a light commercial. Why buy a white commercial when you can buy a bright commercial? I mean, look at this. Lovely little Volkswagen Caddy, bright red. You couldn't get better than that, could you?
The Mark III and beyond has become the favourite of the van modifiers, and rightly so. It looks brilliant modified. Today's car looks like it's been already modified, but this one is actually stock. You see, you buy a van to earn money, right? It's not just for, work, play. It does all kinds of stuff. You can have bikes and things back here if you want to do as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be just a work vehicle. It needs to be everything these days. It also needs to be secure. It also needs to be very roomy. It also needs to be very comfortable to drive, because a lot of vans spend all day and night on the road. And it has to be fuel efficient, and it has to make monetary sense as well. The doors open as wide as you can possibly open them. You can fit a Euro pallet into this, just slits straight into the middle of it. This sliding door here is actually quite convenient, and this has been all fitted out in wood already, so you can, if you want to, screw toolboxes and things and sortimo boxes to this wall. And so this wall is perfectly secure, as are the back doors. They'll all take tools and things. So back here, the Caddy is still, well, second to none. Let's be serious. This is all very well put together. Obviously, this is optional extra stuff you're looking at here. Don't get excited. Your stripped out Caddy doesn't come with this. This bulkhead is put in by Volkswagen though, at the very beginning. Let's have a look around the front. The front seems to be contentious for some people, but I actually like that design. I think it's a really handsome, nice, slightly modified looking design to the exterior of the car. So there's a lot going on in the Caddy. What I mean by that is it's very electronic. There's a lot of electronic gizmos in here, which for a work van is not necessarily what you want to see. You want reasonably priced is actually where your brain will be, It's how much a month this thing is going to cost you to run is what the big factor of buying a Caddy van is. Now, some of you will want to buy this as a lifestyle car. We have a problem with insurance in this country, and a lot of places won't give you insurance on a commercial vehicle when you're not commercially registered with a VAT number, that sort of thing. So that can also be a problem. Check with your insurance company before you go put your money down on a new van. Interior fit and finish, I think the plastics are actually pretty good. They're pretty decent. They're hard wearing, which is what I really want in a commercial van like this. Something that's going to put up with a bit of punishment. I like the bins at the top of the dashboard here. Pretty cool. Instrument pinnacle is very well laid out. This touch screen here in the middle, there's not too many controls on it. I still have physical controls I can use to change the temperature and so on, and I have physical buttons on the steering wheel here, unlike the way something like the ID3 or ID4 has gone with the haptic feedback sort of touch screeny things. Criticisms, where's the bin gone over my head? I always liked that thing. I think it was really good for sticking a journal into, sticking your invoicing book into, sticking something, you know, stuff that you use, things you're going for the whole time. You stood up there pretty well. And another single criticism I have is there's only 2 seats up here. What happened to that? The Toyota groupie pairing with Peugeot, Nissan and Citroen and all those kind of guys, not Nissan, sorry, the Toyota with Peugeot and Citroen have created a 3-seat one across here, and the Toyota Pro Ace would be one of my more favourite kind of cosy cabin cars than this one. So I think it's fair to say that Volkswagen missed the trick here with the centre console. This stuff is mostly redundant that's in here. There's like just some storage boxes, that's all. We could have gotten rid of those fairly fast and replace that with a 3rd seat up front here, because a lot of these vans these days are second cars in the house now. You know, there is a car for trundling to and from the shops and the kids and all that sort of stuff, but there's people going to work every day in these vans, and on their way to work they're dropping the kids to school, and they're even picking up the shopping on the way home, and the van has to double up its duty for all of those duties as well. I think the day is gone where we had a separate work van and there's a normal car there for the main worker of the family, or the person who's self-employed, or the person who has a van in the first place. I think these days we expect these vans to do everything. That said, there's a lot of creature comforts in here. There's a good heater, there's air conditioning, there's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, there is a second airbag on that side as well, so a lot of the commercial guys will take out the other airbag, you know. So I don't really have any criticism that way. I just thought it would have been a really good idea, because everyone else is doing it now with the way we've done engineering in the last few years, and how much space has become reclaimed in cars, how much more things we can get into a car now than we could 5, 6, 8 years ago. We could easily get a 3rd seat in here, the bench seat, particularly because that's an electronic shifter anyway, and that could be moved up the dashboard, put away. It could even be here on the column. I could be up here in the corner going D, press the button, and away you go. No reason for that. Drive wise, suspension damping is actually pretty good. This one has kind of weird, I suppose, more retail-y alloys on it than the Bogo standard steel wheel caddy that you might see around the place as well. So this one's a little bit higher spec in that regard, which to some degree, it's not ruining the stuff, but I don't have a ton of equipment in the back of the thing. I actually only have my camera bag in there, and every time I brake it slides forward. I can hear it sliding across the floor, because there's nothing for the ordinary person for tie down stuff. There's nothing really there to tie down your shopping. There's no shopping bag hooks or attachment points like that. There's only tie downs, ratchet tie downs, that sort of stuff. So out in front is a 2-litre 122 horsepower diesel unit, coupled straight through to an automatic gearbox, which is a DSG gearbox, which is actually really pleasant to drive. And if you spend a lot of your day on the road, particularly trundling about cities and traffic, maybe you're doing a lot of deliveries, you're doing pickups, drop-offs, that's where this diesel engine and that automated gearbox together will win very well, because it's an effortless drive, really easy to just push that accelerator and get going, and it's just a pleasant place to be in here. It's quite a cozy little cabin. I'd say it's not as cozy as a Toyota Pro Ace, which is one of my favourite vans in it. I've repeatedly asked Ford over the years for Transit Connect and so on. They don't really put them on the fleet, which is amazing, since there is a car review system in place for vans, and I don't ever really get to see them. So I don't know what a Ford Transit Connect is like to drive. Not sure. I've driven all the Citroens, I've driven all the Peugeots, I've driven all the Toyota vans, I've driven all the Volkswagen vans, and they're the ones I'm reviewing. So sorry, Ford, if you want to open up a fleet or something and get a van on, I'll certainly test it for you, no bother. Would I buy a van for daily use? Probably not. I don't really have a commercial reason for having a van. I don't carry other than my camera gear, which all fits onto a backpack. Would I like to have a van? Yes, because I think vans are really comfy to drive. You sit above the pedals, so it feels like you're trundling along to do stuff. And then there's something manly about having a van, right? Something kind of, manly about vans. And I kind of like that. That's my thing with vans. I think this is a really good van. I think the fundamental flaws is missing that third seat. That's a big one, because that's just restricting what you can and can't do as a work vehicle. Why you would choose this over any other vehicle. Looks, I think Volkswagen nailed it on the looks. I think the looks are good. I don't have a problem with any of that. I think the way it operates, the active cruise control is here as well. The infotainment system, the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, it's wireless Apple CarPlay, you got wired Apple CarPlay, you got a wireless charger there. They thought of all that stuff, but missing the bins above my head in the third seat would be the biggest criticism. No problem with the space, it's competitive just like every other space, even when it's decked out like it is back there. You get a Europol in it, it's quite a nice yoke. I hope by now you've hit the subscribe button, and if you're still listening to the end, it's always good. I'm going to go off now and film the drone section of this thing. And it'd be really cool to have you along. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. There's a list of links down below if you want to get in touch with me. Go to bobflavin.com where you can buy some goods and things and hoodies and stuff. All very, very high quality hoodies, which are being delivered at the moment. I'm sold out currently of a few bits and pieces there. I'll get them back into stock very soon. If you can participate another way, maybe you want to do Patreon or PayPal or you know, channel memberships or any of that stuff, they're all available too. It's really good. Anyway, thanks for watching the review of the Caddy. I'm off to get a cup of tea after I do my drone shots. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. And until the next time, I will see you on the far side of this bridge.